What is up, good people? Jungle Link here, hope you're doing well. Well, lately there's been a lot of drama within the XRP ecosystem, and I've been talking about this for a while. There's some friction out there between people that are running the infrastructure of the XRP ledger, doing a very important job maintaining, keeping this network up and running, and Ripple, this monster enterprise smack dab in the middle of the XRP ecosystem that not only holds the lion's share of the value, but also exerts significant influence and control over the direction of the XRP ledger. Like, do we get to even vote on hooks, or is AMMs going to be proposed? Things of this nature. Now, before we start digging into this, let me make this clear. This is not our problem. We are investors. And people can call us freeloaders and say, oh, you just expect the network to run. Yeah, that's the way it works as an investor. Like, I don't have to walk in to Apple and design the next iPhone. I don't have to dig up, the next block of gold. I just invest. And so what we need to do as investors is be aware of these problems that are ongoing, to keep a close eye on the solutions and the path forward, and ensure that they are sustainable and they make sense, and that the XRP ledger will continue to function and build value in a decentralized manner. Because if it's not, I'm not going to dig in here and fix the issues or propose solutions. I'll just move my money somewhere else where things look to be progressing in a good manner. Now, that's not to say that they won't get this right. That's not to say that we shouldn't go through this procedure, because everything is not perfect with the XRP ledger, nor is it with any blockchain. This is okay, this is healthy. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say this should be done or that should be done or this is fair. Like, that's not for me to figure out. It's just for me to understand, assess, and decide, am I staying with XRP or do I move that value somewhere else? The people that need to figure this out is Ripple, the multi-billion-dollar company that's built their business around the XRP ecosystem. Infrastructure runners, like, don't whine to me, you ain't getting paid and you don't have the power. Yeah, like, you're doing the job. Shut the validator off, or try to work with people to get a better solution. Or again, people that are, building businesses on this tech stack, Sologenic, XRP Labs, and, on down the list. They have to figure this out. They have to figure out the best path forward to build value for everyone. I don't have to do that. I just buy the coins. You, me, and other investors out there, we create, these very valuable markets with our investment dollars. If we go away, you just got, numbers on the screen. There's nothing there. We're doing our part. They need to figure out their part. Now, let's look at this. So first of all, I think some change is necessary here. The way it's set up isn't really working. The XRP Ledger Foundation, they control quite a bit. They have a lot of power. And if you cruise over to their website, it's run by some super knowledgeable people. I think ethical actors, just a really great group over there that has the XRP Ledger's best interest at heart. And they really do exceptional work. Now, the singular problem, I would say, is they don't have enough power. And this tends to happen if you have a singular source of funding, or even if you are, quote unquote, running a business, but you have one customer. That source of funding, or a singular customer, this is really closer to a boss in many ways than it is, your own sole and separate entity. They call the shots because they provide the money. And so, in my mind, giving the foundation more power, more funding, they don't have to ask you for it. It's just maybe in an escrow account, and it gets released to them, just like we see with with Ripple's escrow accounts, where every month they get a certain allotment of money, and they don't have to answer anyone to get that escrow release. Something like that with the foundation, where they can really be autonomous. Some money has been set aside. Of course, you'd have to have some controls on there so they continue to do good work. But who decides what's good or not shouldn't be Ripple, the company. At least not solely their decision, because, then you're not autonomous. You're not really a foundation. You're a captured arm of Ripple's, similar to what we see with OpenAI and Microsoft. And so the latest source of frustration is Ripple has proposed some new ideas on how to kind of correct this and build out an ecosystem. But the problem is, you have the dictator deciding what's a good path forward. What is that going to result in? Well, more control for them, of course. And so that's what this kind of does. Where a better solution would be go to the current foundation, go to the validators and other ecosystem participants and ask them to put a report together to talk about how we may improve this setup. And of course, you might not just give them everything, but that would be a good starting point of trying to build, something going forward. But having a dictator do this, and just telling everyone, no, this is a really good solution. This is going to be better. Like, even if Ripple was trying to be totally objective and fair here, Ripple, the entity, their employees, they can't do that because they will always slant things in their favor the way they want it. I'm not saying they're even trying to be nefarious or necessarily pull control back, but that's the way this will work out. If they're the main architects of this, it will slant in their favor, and it won't be good for a decentralized system. So a couple things here. We're seeing validators, people that are running infrastructure, they're out of here. They're shutting down their systems. They're going to jump to another blockchain, or maybe they're quitting. Doesn't really matter. So some of the things I think we got to think about. Number one, this magical thinking that, if they go away, someone else is going to want to come up and run infrastructure for free, and they'll do it gladly, and they'll do a better job. Like, that's silly thinking. We're losing some very important people that have been around for a long time. And I don't know where these other magical entities or individuals that are going to be so into XRP, they're going to want to do this, where they're going to come from. Yes, someday people are going to do this because they're running a business and they have a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. But you have to get to that point of functionality, that, scale, that value first. People aren't just going to jump in here and assume someday that will happen. I mean, some people did early days, and look where it got them. Nowhere, to the point where they're just shutting off their infrastructure and moving on. The next crop of developers or, people that are looking to run infrastructure, they don't have to sit back and pray that the ecosystem someday grows into something, because there's other opportunities out there where they can be successful now and make money now and build value now. It's just not that enticing to hope and pray that we're able to scale this network to a point, unless you're really an XRP enthusiast and you've been around a long time. This ain't going to be where you plant your stake and go, we're going to build the future here. There's too much opportunity out there. So as these people, shut down their systems and move on, they're not easily replaceable. Now, the other thing we have to be careful of is we don't just look at other chains and go, well, Bitcoin has miners and that's successful, so that works. Or, all these other blockchains have proof of stake, and, that's fantastic and works for them. Like, XRP is its own thing. It has a novel design. And I'm not saying just go out there and photocopy what everyone else is doing. That's not a great path forward either. We need novel solutions that work well with this ecosystem, that work well with consensus, that don't slant things one way or the other that cause, centralization. I understand. This is a specifically fine-tuned blockchain, and we need to be careful how we proceed. But what's clear is the current group here that is building the future for the XRP ledger. They're frustrated. They've had enough. And they see all this funding going to friends of Monica Long and other Ripple executives, and not enough money and funding going to them. And there's just too much opportunity out there. They're saying, enough, we're out of here. We're going to either do our own thing or we're going to go to another blockchain. And it's going to be tough to replace them. Now, is it all doom and gloom? No. Ripple has more XRP than I have. The value of XRP Ledger over the long term is going to net them back a heck of a lot more than it will me or most of you out there. Again, they have billions and billions of XRP. They don't want to mess this up. They're not trying to be nefarious here and do a rug pull on everyone. They're trying to come up with a good solution, but also thinking that they're always going to be right is a problem as well. 2018, 19, 20. What did everyone out of the Ripple camp tell us? David Schwartz tell us, well, DeFi and all these kinds of systems, maybe someday that's something, but the imminent value for blockchain is micropayments and streaming payments, and that's where you're going to see immediate value built. And we're going to have coil blogs and cars that pay micropayments to people to be able to pass and all this kind of stuff, and none of that's happening. And really all the value is in AMMs and DeFi, and XRP today is in a chase position when it should be a leader. People make mistakes. It's okay. Still, there's a lot of value here within the XRP ecosystem, and a lot can happen in a short amount of time. We're going to see stablecoins finally come onto the ledger, significant ones. Yay for that. AMMs. Yes, we're running from the chase position, but running down a stretch, XRP runs faster than anyone else. This is doable, but they got to do it right. And some of that is going to be Ripple talking to very important people out there that are part of this, figuring out a path forward. I think it gets done. And again, for us as investors, we don't have to figure out the solutions. We just sit back, watch it transpire. And again, this is probably stuff that's going to affect things a little further down the road than this next bull run, but keep it in the back of your mind, see how this plays out, and try to make that decision. Is this going to be a very long-term coin that you hold, or might there be other opportunities out there? And it's going to be impossible to say at this point in time. We'll see how it goes forward. If they're able to fix this, I think they will. But don't stick your head in the sand and ignore it. I've been banging on this drum for a while now. There's friction out there in the ecosystem. It's serious. And people that just say it's going to solve itself, it's nuts. It's not for us to solve, but someone better solve it because it's going a bad direction. But also this kind of conflict can really spur a lot of growth if it drives them to talk and get this worked out and come out with a new and novel way to go forward. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.